Okay guys, so in this one we're going to do the alphabet number 3, which is the fourth task for if else while loop. Okay, if else very while loop. Okay, so this one, it says we should write a program that prints the alphabet in lowercase. We've done that before, but the difference is that it says and then it should follow by the uppercase alphabet and then followed by new line. Okay, so when they execute the program, it's going to print A, B, C, D, E, F, and then to Z, right? And then a new line. Okay, so you could write all this like I explained before using printf and puts, but they said we should only use putchar because putchar only prints one letter at a time. Okay, and then we could do this, write it 42 times, but they said we can only use putchar 3 times in our code. So let's just see how we're gonna do that. So I'm going to be showing you two methods on how to solve this one as well, just like I did in the former one. So the first one will be using the while loop, and then the second one we're going to be using the for loop. Okay, so I'm trying to copy this guy, so my system is kind of hanging. That's because I'm using Windows. That's so there's the ls and then there's the vi and the file name, right? So yes, so the last video I think I did this one twice because I used the while loop here and I used the for loop here. So I'm going to create two files too, but let's first create this one and do the while loop, right? So first one, I'll first want to include my standard io.h. Okay, so I'm going to give it this description so that Betty can allow us go, and I'll give some main, and the main I'll give it print alpha bets. I wrote it like this so they know that it is small and capital letter. Okay, so return should return probably always 0. Okay, and then return time. So we have our int main, right? And then we have our curly braces, right? So how's our code? So the first thing I want to do, like I did, so we'll declare a character that will save alpha. Let me give some alphabets, right? Okay, so I can just declare one. The other time I initialize this straight, but I figured out we could do it without initializing it. So I just created a container to house uh, our alphabet, right? So I'll come here and then I select I do my while loop syntax, which is like this, right? Okay, so I'm supposed to print out um, I'm supposed to print out what's it called, the alphabet, right? So the alphabet. So these are what I want to print, right? So this one I'll do it for the small letter. So for the small letter, I will say um, as far as okay, for this one I think alphabet. So I think the best way for me to do this one is to actually initialize it. Okay, so alphabet is equals to a, like I did before. So sorry. So while a is, or let me, we could just do it while alphabet, okay, let's do it this way, is less than equal to z. Okay, so the z, we're gonna do it like this. Let me delete this guy. Okay, so while our alphabet, we first said our alphabet equals to a, so while alphabet is less than equal to z, we should print alphabet. Okay, so I'll explain this. So this one is just like the former one we did, and okay, let me clean this space. So what, and then I want to increment it, alphabet plus plus. So if you watch the previous video, you understand this syntax, right? And what I'm just saying is that we know alphabet is a, right? So while a is less than equal to z, right? So a is less than equal to, so as far as this thing is true, it's going to be executing this thing. So a, the alphabet is a, sorry, so my alphabet here is wrong, so let me write it the correct way. Alphabets, right? So while our alphabet, which is a, is less than this, is going to print a, right? So a will be printed here, right? So this one houses it. So a is printed, and then we increment it and it becomes b. So b is still less than z, so b will be printed, so it will continue till we get to z, right? And then when we get to z, z is equal to z, it's going to print z, and anything greater than z is not less than z, so it's going to go out of this while loop. So once we are done printing that, then we could do another while loop for the capital letter. So for capital letter, I can just create another um, um, one here. So this one, let me just give it lower alpha, lower bet. Okay, so I know that it is a lowercase, right? So lower bet. Okay, and then this one I'll call it lower bet, and then this one I'll call it lower bet. Okay, so I want to create for the alphabet as well, so I'll create a place to store it. So I'll do this one alphabet, like the capital letter, right? So I'll initialize this one to be capital letter A and then end it here, so I can use that variable. So I'll declare this one, right? And then we are still going to print putchar. So we'll do this, and then we'll do low, sorry, alphabet, right? So this is the uppercase, right? So what else? So we're going to initialize it just the way we did it here. So we'll say alphabet. Do we have, okay, lower bet alphabet, okay, and then it's less than equal to, then we'll use our capital letter Z, right? Yes, and then I think then we'll increment it. Say alphabet plus plus, okay, and then we'll end it with a new line after we're done. So we'll say uh, putchar, right, then a new line, right, and then we'll write our return value. So return 0. Okay, so I think we are done. So this one would loop through and print A to Z. This one would loop through and print capital letter A to Z, right? So and then a new line and then 0. Okay, so let's try it and see. So if I list it now, you see I have my 3 print alphabet, right? So let me Betty to check if we meet Betty standard first, and then we know, okay, int main should probably int main void. Okay, so very sorry about that. So we just add void to this place, because normally it will work like this normally, but better standard, once we don't have a parameter, we should just put void there. Okay, so when we check again, you see that it is working. So let me clear my screen, list it again. So let's compile it. So if I'm compiling, I think the output you are supposed to do is, I think eventually you can compile using this guy over here, GCC this, and this will automatically create a compile 3 print alphabet without the dot c. Okay, so I can just copy this guy and use it to compile my work. Okay, so if I clean this and I press this and I press enter, it's going to compile. So when I list it, I have my 3 alphabets without the dot c, so I can just run it and see. So as you can see, we have our abc to z and z printed out. Okay, so I'll show you the second method, and before I do that, I'll just remove that td, because I don't want my work to be too rough or too many files. Okay, so let me clear it. So the second one, let me just copy that 3 and then give it another name. Let me call it 3prints.c, right? 3print.c. So this 3print.c, I'm going to do the second method there. Okay, so vi 3print.c, right? So this one now I want to edit it and use the second method. So for the second method, I'm going to use the for loop, and for that one, I this initialization declaration that I did here, I'm going to remove it. Okay, and this one I'm going to remove it. Okay, so I'm going to now come here and rewrite it there. So I'll now say my lower now is equal to lower bet is equal to small letter a, finish. So this one is here, then this one I'll bring it here. Okay, so that one I'll bring it here and say lower bet plus plus. Okay, so I'll clean it here, and that should do the first one. And I'm just going to change this one to a for loop. 1 2 3 4 5 4. Okay, so same thing for this one. I'll change this one to a for, and then I'll come here, alphABET plus plus. I'll remove it and add it here into our this, and then alphABET plus plus. Okay, so this place I will then add my alphabet and then put equal to capital letter A, right? Alphabet and then equal to capital letter A, and then I'll put my semicolon, right? So with this it should work, and that's just the way to run it. Let me see if we are not missing anything out. Okay, I think so far we are good to go. So let me list it again. So let me bet it and see, and then see Betty say we are good, so we can clear it, and then I can just gcc compile it, and then let's see, and I've compiled it. So compiling this, it means that our compiled output is a.out, so I can run it using a.out, and then I have my work. So that's basically how to do it. So see you in the next video when I talk about the next one. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, thank you.